Hey there. Oh, welcome to another video for Chapter 5, Stability of Hope. And this is for our contemplative and spiritual practice introduced in this chapter called Listen, Then Seek. And the inspiration for this section is actually one of my very adored activities in childhood, which is, if you remember from the Highlights magazine for kids, in that magazine, they always had, in each issue that I got, they always had the hidden activities game where you were given a scene, and then within that, you were given a list of items that you needed to find within that, what was kind of a seemingly unrelated environment to what the list of items was. I loved that game. I loved the exploring on paper and through just a simple picture of finding these objects that we didn't just see right away at first sight when we saw that image. And it's just such a beautiful way to think about our chapter 5 with stability of hope, where we really start talking and exploring in expectations and how the stability of intention and our stability practices really are so important in anchoring us from our expectations, and how our expectations and our wish lists actually cause despair versus when we have our stability anchoring and when we can actually look for and listen for divine expectation, which leads to hope. So the Hidden Activities game from Highlight Magazine is really a tremendous way to simplify this seemingly kind of big spiritual idea. And what it comes down to is now playing a more matured version, because we've matured now and we're ready for this. It's now playing a version of this game where each moment of our life, the external environment becomes our picture. So no matter where or how different the external moments look, they're just different pictures for us to play this game in. And so now when we see a new moment, rather than the list of items to find being printed right in front of us, we have the opportunity to listen for the list and listen for what resources and what directions and what this moment, what we are to receive and what we are to contribute to the moment. And so we listen for these impulses and these nudges, and we find them in the environment. They are already given. That's the promise, is that what we need to fulfill our potential as extensions of love, everything we need to do that is already in our environment. And the game that we play more often and is our default patterns is that we actually scan the environment. We scan each moment for our desires and our expectations and our want list. And we get restless when we can't find the things that we want in the environment. So we seek them. We're restless and we're seeking these things to fulfill our want list. But now our opportunity is to pause, turn towards, in that moment, in that sacred sliver of space, and listen for what we are to find in the environment. And that is the true, when I ask, that I actually receive, that I look for the true answer and true solution that's provided to me from the guidance of my lighter voice and from that divinely led wisdom. And that's aligning what we want to do with what we actually do. when we what we want to do in our heart of hearts with what we actually do. So I hope you use this imaging as a fun way to look at each moment that you're within and just start seeing them as fun, light, joyful ways to pause in them and listen for what gifts and resources and tools and solutions that are the exact things you need are in those very ordinary of moments, the most ordinary of moments. And see how fun and share how fun. I love to hear your stories of how, if looking at the environment like that, of what it feels like in helping establish that trust in the future for our stability of hope when we soften looking for our desires and our wish list, and we can shift our attention towards and enjoy the moments of finding the gifts in the divine's want list. So have fun. I'm excited to hear your stories, and we'll talk again very soon. Okay, thanks. Bye bye.